atoll looks like paradise. The water is clear. The coral is intact. The beaches are empty. The last permanent residents left in 1954. They have never been able to return. Welcome to Shadow Archives. In the last file, we told the story of Castle Bravo. This is the story of the people who paid for it. Before Castle Bravo, there was already a history. In 1946, the United States chose Bikini Atoll as a site for nuclear testing. 42,000 military personnel arrived. The residents were not asked. Between 1946 and 1958, 23 nuclear devices were detonated at Bikini, 67 in the Marshall Islands as a whole. In 1946, the U.S. military approached the chief of Bikini, King Juda. They asked him to relocate his people, just temporarily, for the good of mankind. King Juda said yes. They were told they could return. They were told it would be soon. Both of those promises were false. They were first relocated to Rongelap Atoll, an island with almost no food and no fresh water. They were slowly starving. Then came March 1st, 1954. Castle Bravo detonated Bikini, 15 megatons. The fallout cloud reached Rongelap Atoll within 2 hours. 64 people were directly in its path. If you haven't seen the Castle Bravo file yet, it's in the archives, but you don't need to have seen it to understand what happened next. The people of Rongelap saw a white powder falling from the sky. They didn't know what it was. The children played in it. Within hours, their hair began to fall out. They developed radiation burns. They were evacuated 2 days later. 2 days too late. In 1968, the United States government declared Rongelap safe. The people were allowed to return to their homes. And for 10 years, they lived there, eating the food, drinking the water. In 1978, new tests revealed the truth. The coconuts were contaminated. The soil was contaminated. The food they had been eating for a decade was poisoned. They had been living on a contaminated island for 10 years. The U.S. government had known the risks and said nothing. The health effects were generational. Women from Rongelap suffered miscarriages and stillbirths at rates far above normal. Some children were born with conditions that had no names in the Marshallese language. Locally, they were called jellyfish babies. Thyroid cancer rates in the Marshall Islands became among the highest in the world. Lemio Abin, one of the Rongelap survivors, spent decades testifying about what the testing had done to her family. Entire generations of Marshallese people carried the consequences of something that was never their choice, never their war, and never their weapon. In 1986, the United States and the Marshall Islands signed a compact of free association. As part of the agreement, the U.S. paid $150 million in nuclear compensation. The Marshall Islands accepted. They had no other option. The Nuclear Claims Tribunal of the Marshall Islands later assessed the total damage, $2.3 billion. The difference between what was assessed and what was paid was never resolved. The claim has never been fully honored. The people of the Marshall Islands are still waiting. Today, Bikini Atoll is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Divers come from around the world to see the Ghost Fleet, the warships sunk during the tests. They explore the hulls of ships that were vaporized from above. The people whose grandfathers built their homes on those same islands cannot visit. They cannot dive there. They cannot return. The fish eat the tourists. The island belongs to no one. And there's a new threat. As sea levels rise from climate change, the concrete dome built to store nuclear waste is cracking. The ocean is reclaiming what was buried. When a government says it is doing something for good of mankind, ask which mankind it means. The people of Bikini were told they were part of something important. They were, but they were not the ones who decided what important meant. The last residents of Bikini left in 1954, believing they would come home. 70 years later, their grandchildren are still waiting. The island waits with them. Next file, the border incident that almost escalated into nuclear war. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Every file in the archives Subscribe matters. And unlock the archives. New file every week. I will see you in the next one.